welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan, and I'm back home again for this one. I want to say this real quick. I came to the extra bedroom and just put my stuff away. And while I was in here, I found this green, obviously a woman's wallet, like a lady's wallet. I opened it up, oh, this is my cousin's kid. My cousin's kid was here visiting my parents about probably a month ago or so. So I just go put this out on the kitchen counter out over there. Later, my dad walks by, looks at it. He's like, "Is this yours?" Really?
It's like, well, it looks like that Yoshi character you like so much.
I was gonna say, it was like one of those things. It's just like I knew it was a matter of time. This comic book shit would lead him right down there.
First he had a messenger bag. It all leads to this now. Just because you got that one bag, it's like, come on, put both straps on, not a single strap. Be a man. Have two straps.
I don't care if Indiana Jones had it.
Remember when they had that 90s style where they just had one strap on the backpack? Of course he had that one.
Or there's even the one where it's like the bag that it's obviously made for two straps, but you just for some reason walk around with the one strap in it, just one over the shoulder holding it.
Do you remember it was like the late 90s, early 2000s, and that was like the cool thing to do. If you put two straps on, you were instant fag. It was like, those are like such weird things. Like when you get as an adult, you think about that and you go, who the fuck cares? Like really, at the end of the day, what the fuck? I remember the other thing too is because when they introduced like the roller bags too, instant fag. Yeah. You carried around a roller bag, it's like, what, you fucking pussy? What, you can't carry books? Mm-hmm. Like, how are you supposed to be a fucking man? Like, if you're 11 years old and you gotta fucking take it like you're a senior citizen going down the airport?
It was one of those things, if you're at the airport or going somewhere, you're like, okay, I'm not, it's outside my realm. But if you bring it into school, you immediately would get shit anytime you saw somebody roll on a bag.
Well, I think really, the reason you're not getting shit in the airport is because none of your classmates are there. That's the reason why you're not getting shit at the airport.
And also, there's also that thing, I don't know what it is. When you're in school, I don't know about you. Later in life, not as much. But, when you're in school and you see somebody you hated at school, you're like, fuck you too. You see them outside of school, maybe later down the line, but during elementary school, you wouldn't have that. You're like, oh, you're here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get thrown off by, I don't know about you, at least I did. But then later, probably around high school, you bump into somebody you didn't like at a party or something like that. You're like, go fuck yourself,
And then the weird thing, too, a lot of times, then you get to 25 years old, and you're like, hey, dude, what's going on, dude? Oh, not much, dude. It all reverses somehow, some way.
They'll say that to me. I'll usually just kind of, no, I don't usually.
You're the guy's like, yeah, fuck you, man.
Well, no, I notice people from high school a lot of times, whether I got along with them or didn't get along with them, they would recognize me, and they'll say, if I knew them, and I'm okay with them, I'll say hi. But I remember people I hated from high school be like, hey man, what's going on? I'm like, hi, why the fuck are you talking? No, I wouldn't actually say why the fuck are you talking to me, but be kind of okay, it's just as if that suddenly just a switch goes off or something like that.
Yeah, it's weird how it is. I think some people, it's like, do they not remember that they were total jerks back then?
I think they were just kind of oh, we were kids,
boys will be boys.
We were kids, and you were a fucking cocksucker.
Yeah, yeah, you were beyond just being a regular douchebag kid.
Yeah.
You advanced the cocksucker.
So it's one of those things where, but I go back to the bag for a second, I just thought it was funny, just kind of he says, I don't know, I thought maybe you kept your Game Boy in that shit.
You keep your Game Boy and your credit cards and your lipstick.
He didn't open it up. He just saw this green thing, so I just thought that was funny.
I like how he didn't open it up. He also was poking it with a ruler, too.
Yeah.
Like he was afraid.
It might attack.
Like it might burst like the things in Alien Covenant. You're like, this is what happens. You poke it too hard, and the next thing you burst out, and the next thing you know, you're running around the room shouting out show tunes. I don't know how this goes down.
Somewhere alone in the moonlight.
Just like he's sniffing, going through the house, arms full spread, like he's a ballerina. No!
You're giving me images. Let's not make it.
Trying to fight.
Let's not make it with the family. You're giving me images.
It's almost like Evil Dead now inside the house.
The very the show tune Evil Dead.
And his hand starts doing the jazz hand, so he takes it in the garage. He straps it on. Pulls on the chainsaw.
The hand. It's doing the little kind of just dance, the little
hello, my daughter.
Yeah, the feet out dance kind of thing, where like arms around each other, then kicking out like
It's
that.
like singing a chorus line.
The foot, the hand, yeah.
Chops it off.
Gotta get rid of it. When it's bleeding, it's just rainbows and sparkles.
Yeah. Sparkle!
Welcome to the most homophobic episode of Old Man Orange Podcast, folks.
It's not homophobic, it's just funny.
It's just funny. They're different!
Yeah, as long as we're having laughs and everybody's happy, it's okay. It's only when you start getting to like a hate mongrel rant, that's when it becomes bad.
Yeah, it's soon. I mean, I don't think we've gone down a hate mongrel rant in a while. And it's always something over like,
Like,
man, what's with people in the fucking YouTube comments or something like that?
Yeah, or fucking Wreck-It Ralph.
Or Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah, we could have like, you know what? There's a lot of things that I would probably go the other way on. Like, I'm sorry, dude. I just don't agree with it. I can't do that. That's just against my moral values. Like, you know what? We're having a Wreck-It Ralph like Blu-ray like public burning in the middle of like town. Like, you know what? I might roll by for that. It's just Wreck-It Ralph, right? Like,
no Mario or Sonic, right?
Or no, like, I'm sure. I'll say nothing else. Just Wreck-It Ralph, right? Yeah, just Wreck-It Ralph. All right, come by. You know.
You're not gonna throw Zootopia in there, are you? Because that's a really fucking good movie.
One.
Yeah. But yeah, those things like that.
I mean, they could say they're gonna have like a Trump like book burning rally. I'm like, that seems a bit extreme. I don't like the fucker.
Yeah, I don't like the guy either. But yeah, I'm not gonna go join that. Then I feel like I'm just
You're
as
just giving
bad.
ammunition for Fox News. With that
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the Wreck-It Ralph, I'll make an exception.
Because that's the first thing Fox News would literally have like a thing and have like a banner below it saying, "See, told you liberals don't actually read." Be like one of those ones. I told you it the whole fucking time. They just shout out propaganda. See, that's why you don't want to be a part of those things.
Yeah.
Then you just look like the dumb liberal.
Or it's just one of those things like, see, this is what happens when they're out there protesting and not going to that fancy school their parents paid for.
Yeah, they're borrowing their books. See, those books all probably cost $100 a piece. Such ungrateful little bastards they are.
Meanwhile, at the Wreck-It Ralph burning session.
You know, in my day, you would have called that kid a cocksucker kid. That's how far about she's advanced.
Cocksucker kid.
That
sounds like the cocksucker kid here.
Cocksucker kid here. I've advanced to the highest level. Salute him. He's a cocksucker.
I just assumed that
it's like military ranks in school.
I was thinking like, like Billy the Kid, like the cocksucker kid.
Is that too? I guess. I was always thinking it's like, you know, that douchebag kid over there, he's a lieutenant. You don't have to salute him, but when it gets the cocksucker.
Yeah.
He's like a 4-star general. He's a 4-star cocksucker here.
Full on.
So he shoved 4 cocks?
Yeah.
Sucking cocks? What are you talking about? No, he's a beyond a douchebag. It's like that kid mentality. Like, you didn't put 2 and 2 together, like, what it really means. And there's that one kid that takes it literally.
He's a cocksucker? No, not literally, dude.
So he's just sitting back, like, he's all scared, like, he gets that visual image for the very first time of like fucking like Billy sucking cock like very violently. He just like doesn't know how to react.
Camera angrily.
Yeah, just like looking at you. I'm gonna get you, Fat Andy. I'm gonna fucking get you. He's like, no.
Now this is where like I'm gonna say this not to make it too personal. This is where like, oh yeah, I do a podcast. You do a podcast? What's it called? Oh man, I'll check that out. The episode they land on is this one.
Well, I literally had one of those moments today where I was handing out fucking business cards. And it's like, oh yeah, I got a podcast and everything. So hopefully they check out the live interviews because those are gonna be much more. I
actually haven't listened to all of them yet.
I don't know.
I gotta work through. I listened to the first one. I actually gotta work my way through the last two Metal Bomb ones, and then the Comic-Con one.
Oh,
Quick question, because you actually edit it, and this will be a learning thing for me. That girl that was dressed like Poison Ivy, and I asked, so, do you have anything to say? I did not hear a fucking thing she said when she spoke on the microphone. Does it come up on microphone?
I don't know. I didn't listen to it.
You didn't listen to it? Okay.
I just put them together and just edited the beginning and the end.
I just wasn't sure if
I was lazy.
Okay, well, I guess we'll find out later. Maybe someone could say in the comments, but yeah. Because I don't want to listen to my own show. I don't want to tell me what she said.
Well, there comes a certain point, after a while, it's just almost like, I try to mentally know, like, the stuff, like, if I need to go back, I need to go back and take this out, or I need to go back and fix this. But for the most part, it's like, I just almost feel like there's just not enough time a week to listen to the whole thing and edit it all the way through. Because I know it sounds lazy, but it's like, that takes a couple extra hours that, you know, it's already going to take me like an hour plus just to do the regular editing. So to do like a full editing, you know.
No, I get you. Plus right there, it's like, good thing about me coming back the last couple of weeks and visiting is we just got a bunch of these in, just like, so I don't have to do Skype or nothing like that.
Yeah, so that always makes it easier.
Try and get as many of these in there as we can. But I almost was gonna ask, like, will you remove the Metallica comment I said. Like, and then I was like, you know what? It's not good for me, but it's better for the podcast. So
plus, you saved yourself with a good Tom Morello reference.
Yeah. Still, I felt bad for that because I'm like, I've heard that name before, but I was just like, to prove I was listening to the conversation earlier, I was like, is that one guy? Like, no, that's the guitar player to Metallica. Oh, I'm sorry.
You mean Megadeth? Spelled D-E-A-F? Because they're all deaf from all the metal music they listen to.
You bring this guy with you to all these interviews? Yeah, I don't really bring him. He follows me.
Yeah.
He brings the umbrella.
Yeah, he's good at carrying stuff. That's like his skill in life. He's like, I could pick up 400 pounds, one hand.
He brings the awning, and I don't want to spend $100 for that. So, yeah.
Exactly. He had an orange one, and it was good enough. But, yeah. So there's all that fun stuff there, too. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of fun thing. I went and saw Alien Covenant again just because I had to kill time. It was one of those days where it's like, I don't want to go fucking home for like 2 hours and then come back and then so on and so on. So I was like, use my movie pass card because I want to get my money's worth out. I'll go see fucking Alien Covenant again. Why not? It was playing at the right time. Sure. I'll go see it again. Which was great. There's nobody really in there. Got to enjoy the whole place myself. Got to watch Alien again. And then you get to look for all those little small things and make yourself laugh.
Yeah, no, I like that movie. More I thought about it, I liked a little more. There's
a couple dumb parts, that's definitely true.
Yeah, there are those moments that just keep it. I mean, it's probably my third favorite Alien movie when it gets down to it, but it's still a really good movie. I think it's definitely worth seeing. It just, unfortunately, I think if it wasn't for those dumb things, it probably would actually almost be up there with, like, maybe Alien or something like that. I don't know. Aliens is a perfect movie. I really have no problem with Aliens.
Aliens, you really can't beat that one. That one's just like all around good. And save the first one's pretty darn good too.
The thing about the first one is it's so simple. It's really good. Everything's done really right. It's just you've seen a million things copy it by this point, but it's still it's the original. It's the original and it holds up. It's kind of in like where Aliens. That's just still like a perfect action
it's like
science fiction.
Everything's just dialed in.
I can't complain about Aliens at all.
But then the extended cut just even makes it even better. Mm-hmm. It's like why would you watch anything else?
Yeah.
But no, there was all kinds of cool stuff. Did you get Vixen that came out?
No,
that was our DCU movie. It was just like another DCU one that they really didn't even advertise. I don't know
that
why.
one. What it is it's actually.
Well, it's a full-on movie.
Well, it was a mini-series they chopped up into bits and threw it online, and it takes place in the world of Arrow and Flash.
Yeah, that's what it is, but like it's a full-on movie when you watch it, though. It's like, because I bought it, and it's just
was it pretty good?
Oh, yeah, it's just as good as any of the other DCU
I'll
ones.
have to get that one.
Yeah, and you got Stephen Amell doing the voice, and what's his name from the
Grant Gustin
doing the voice there, and same with other characters, too. It's cool because they throw like Felicity in there, and they throw Cisco, and you know, there's got a bunch of characters like you wouldn't really think being in like an animated one. Mm-hmm. But plus, the one thing I thought was kind of cool about Vixen is that's one of those DC characters that I really just don't know a whole lot about. She appears once in a blue moon, like in an episode. I don't know, maybe a Batman Brave and the Bold or a Justice League. Unlimited. Yeah, she was in that. But other than that, though, it's like, you know, you don't even really see her that often in the comics. You don't see her that often and stuff. So it was kind of cool for me to see an origin story of her, not knowing a whole lot about this character. Mm-hmm. And plus, it was a little bit different than anything else too. And yeah, just like it's kind of cool because it's almost like a 4-act movie, or more than it is like a 3-act. There's like a lot of things happen in it, like almost where you feel like, oh god, this is like, oh yeah, you think back on it, it's like, oh yeah, this is a very like progressive movie, like in the whole like 90 minutes.
Is it one of those things where it feels kind of like a CW show with like only animated, or does it actually feel kind of like a regular DCU movie? Just happens to have the look in the voice actors from the shows.
Yeah, it doesn't have the look of CW. I mean, like, their costumes that have, like, sort of...
I mean, I guess some of the, like, love triangle shit.
No, it doesn't have any of the CW-ness. Okay. It's literally like a DCU movie that just happens to have voice actors from the CW.
Okay.
So, that's what makes it pretty cool. So, if you can catch that one, like, I couldn't fucking find it on Blu-ray. I was pissed as hell. I, like, walked around. I was like, nah, flip this thing over. But then I was like, whatever. I'll buy it on, DVD. That's okay. So, I just got it there, but... Yeah, it was really good, though, overall. I liked it a lot.
I'll have to check that one out. Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I'd probably just get that one, because anytime it kind of slid by me. You texted me about it. I was like, oh, really?
Well, that's the thing, though. It's like they didn't advertise. It's like, what the fuck? It's like...
I think they were nervous about it, and they're probably...
Why would you be nervous? That's like the most popular thing. I mean, look at fucking Injustice 2. That game was pretty much like the C-Dub game more than anything else.
But Vixen, not a lot of people really know who Vixen is.
Well, I think that's it. Well, that's why they literally, it's like, you don't know who Vixen is? Well, look who's standing behind her. It's Stephen Amell and Grant Gustin, Arrow and Flash.
Yeah. Are they all pretty big parts of it? Or are they
they're sort of like, it's more like, it's definitely a Vixen movie, like, through and through. They're just kind of, they're like almost like the Batman thrown in there just to like help sell it. Mm-hmm. You know, because they're in it in the beginning and they're in the end. And that's
it says a lot when you could actually kind of we reach the point like
Flash and Arrow, the
guys they throw in there to help sell it.
Mm-hmm.
It used to just be Batman's the one we can't talk today. Batman's the one we got to sell this motherfucker. But now we're like, let's throw Flash in there. Let's throw Green Arrow. The guys who don't have their own solo movie yet.
Yeah, exactly. One of those things. But
I mean, we're not counting Justice League Flashpoint because they had to use Justice League in order to sell it.
Yeah, I know, because it wasn't... I mean, it's technically... It's like the Flash movie, but yeah, it's not like Flash. That's why I think makes this movie kind of ballsy, is it's not called like Justice League Vixen, or it's not called like C-Dub, you know, Arrow and Flash.
C-Dub.
You know, it's like they literally just go with, it's just Vixen. That's all it is.
Well, I feel like they are kind of starting to get a little bit more brazen with it because they put a Teen Titans movie out there. Before it'd be like Batman and Teen Titans or Justice League and Teen Titans. But now they're just like, fuck it, Teen Titans, throw it out there.
And yeah, Batman's not even in it. They don't even have to have Batman.
Yeah, and they're Robin and Nightwing are major characters. So it's one of those things. I think they are starting to get kind of like, yeah, fuck it, let's just do it.
You know, I ended up because they had it on sale. I bought the Judas Contract book. That was like, you know, the 80s one. Mm-hmm. And even though that one's, it's like very similar, it's still kind of a cool read anyways, just to like see kind of like, okay, this is how it was there. And, you know, because instead, they don't have Blue Beetle 2 in there, obviously, because he wasn't around yet. But they have Wonder Girl. Oh, yeah, they have Jericho in there, too. He's in it, too. And it's like, it's the first time that Nightwing becomes there. It's like, he never was Nightwing before that. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of cool. You get to see that happen. And just other things like that, and just how they almost make Terra, like, even more douchey in that one. Yeah. She's even, like, smoking a cigarette and everything. Like, I'm so fucking cool. Come on, Deathstroke. We're going to fucking do this.
Is Deathstroke being kind of like, yeah, we're fucking? Or, because in the movie, they played it off kind of like, yeah, okay, wait over there, kid. We'll talk about that later.
It's kind of like that. There's just, I guess, a little bit more of it in there, just because it's longer, technically. It's like more like the extended cut of it all, and just slightly different things.
Because in the movie, I got the sense that he was just kind of leading her on, kind of like, don't you like this lingerie? Yeah, okay, I'll be right back. And then just leaves, waits, like, where are you? Oh, sorry, I went to pick up cigarettes, and then I met this guy, haven't seen him in a while, went to the bar, and yeah, then a job came up. You know how it is. Anyway, we'll see you later. I feel like that's kind of like how he was in Justice League, in the Teen Titans movie. So.
Yeah.
Which is the safer way to go. Like, it's still fucked up as hell that he's leading this girl on. But,
well, the cool thing in this one is this one has, like, a big fat, like, there's one, like, I think it's the third issue. It's, like, Deathstroke's, like, original wife shows up, and she explains to Nightwing, like, his whole fucking origin story of him and fucking, like, the Korean War and how they met, and then them going into Vietnam, and then how he became, like, his, you know, the super soldier and all this kind of stuff, and how they had these kids and he wasn't showing up anymore, and they kept wondering what he was doing. He was taking on all these excess jobs as Deathstroke and everything like that. And it was a really cool, like, origin. Like, it was like, oh, that's fucking cool. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot more, like, cool elements in there. Like, that would make, you know, if you had a movie that was, you know, 2.5 hours, like Dark Knight Returns, you could see where that would be kind of cool. I mean, don't get me wrong, the animated movie, perfect, like, caption of all that stuff there. Yeah. You know, but it is kind of cool just to see all this little extra stuff in there. It's like, oh, that's pretty sweet. You know, and it's like the ex-wife is the one that shot Deathstroke in the eye. That's how he's, like, got the eye patch and everything like that. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
Well, I know that he has 2 kids. He has Rose and he has Jericho. And Rose later in the...
Yeah, he has the other kid, too.
When Jeff John... He has a third one?
No, just 2.
Okay.
Unless he has one later on.
Yeah, he has Rose and Jericho, and I know Rose at some point ends up joining the Teen Titans... Not joining... Maybe she does for a second, but she actually comes back in Jeff Johns' runs when he rebooted the whole thing. And she was, like, joining him, trying to prove that she's just like him. And at some point, he's like, you're nothing like me. Get out of here. You fucked up, whatever. Then she stabs herself in the eye, like, no, Daddy, I'm just like you. You know, one of those things. And then later, but I read the one where they had, like, Jericho was even in the movie for a split second, just to die, then just to have a teaser at the end to pop up, like, he's the next villain or whatever. But he was also in there's the one where it's like Raven loses her shit and Trigon comes to take over the world and they gotta stop him. Jericho's just a fucking bitch. I really don't like Jericho. He's just kind of like, he can't talk. He's always like,
he's mute. So he's mute. So he's like retarded.
He's always just like, I'm scared, you know, and he can't talk. And then, like, he's always like, he just has to possess other people for a second. That's his
power. It's like he takes over other people.
It's like, fuck that.
And stuff.
Punch somebody. Use
use
your own fists.
Dick Grayson, because, like, Dick Grayson and Jericho are, like, sneaking in there towards the end, and he's like, Too bad that I didn't pay enough attention when Batman was teaching me, like, sign language. Just picture, like, come on, fucking dick. It's, like, easy. It's like, you do this, and that. Like, what, you can't fucking get it? Like, what's wrong with you?
Oh, it's a flashback like that?
No, there wasn't one like that, but that's just how I kind of pictured it.
Oh, that'd be funny right there.
It was just, all it was...
You'll need this at some point.
All it was a caption. It was like, I should have paid more attention when Batman was teaching me this. But, no, and there's also, it's got Cyborg in it, too, so that kind of changes a little bit of the dynamic there as well, but... No, yeah, it was really cool. As well as it was actually one of the best Teen Titans books I probably ever read. Because I think the thing is it didn't really have any of the teen-ness to it. It was just like a really good story. Because I think that's sort of like what loses me. I think it just was when you get older, the teen aspect kind of... It's like why I don't really care for Spider-Man unless he's like an adult. Like I like Spider-Man a lot more when he's like man Spider-Man. Not, man Spider, but when he's adult. Not when he's like fucking six-arm man walking around, but... Because I just feel like that's a Spider-Man I can relate more to. That's why I really like the animated series.
You just gave me the idea of David Cronenberg's Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, you could have it like that.
That's good. Just like what are you hiding, Peter? Nothing, Aunt May. He has like a fucking like a what are those things called? The pincer type things.
Oh yeah, in his mouth.
The end, whatever they are, just something like that protruding out of his face.
Yeah.
Like one of those, like, I guess, for lack of a better word, spider teeth.
Yeah, have this movie be like a no CG movie whatsoever, like totally old school.
He has like 6 eyes that are all like misplaced, like all over his face. His arm, he has like 6 arms, just like, and like, just violently just shits webbing. Can't stop it, you can't control it.
Yeah.
And
it's
like
really gross and nasty.
Like very much like makes The Fly look like Sesame Street,
Mm-hmm. But I ended up finishing actually the Spider-Man the animated series when I was going back and watching all those all fucking 72 episodes.
Does that end?
Probably took me like a month and a half, but
is the last episode the one where he meets Stan Lee and that's the last episode.
And he like swings through Stan Lee's like on his back. I'm like, oh, fucking awesome!
Oh wow, I made this. I wonder if that's like, look, we're getting canceled. We really got to break the fourth wall. And it's just like, here's your whole world. You were created by this guy. You think Spider-Man would have been like, oh, wow, it's so amazing to meet you. Oh, it's amazing to meet you too, Spider-Friend. You think he'd be like, motherfucker, you killed my uncle. You made my life so fucking hard. I didn't lose my virginity until I was fucking 25. Do you know what that's fucking like,
But, well, it's not technically like that, though. It's,
it's its own world, I know.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Well, it's like, because there's that one Spider-Man, like, because it's called, like, Spider War, so it's, like, 8 different Spider-Men all, like, in this world together and stuff like that. And then there's, like, the one Spider-Man who's, like, in a metal suit. He's like, everything went good for me. Yeah, he's all rich. Everybody loves him.
He's, like, Aunt May, like, what was it?
J. Jonah Jameson's, like...
J. Jonah Jameson loves him.
Yeah, the Kingpin's, like, his lawyer.
And then Mary Jane doesn't Mary Jane doesn't care for him, but
it's Gwen Stacy instead.
Yeah, but her mother.
Yeah, thinks he's like the best.
Yeah,
it's like so everything's like kind of opposite.
Mm-hmm.
But and then they have like the guy who's like, oh, I've just been Man-Spider this whole time. Like, there was a cure. Like the guy's like, what kind of fucking world do I live in? No cure for this.
Yeah, I remember that one. And then he added the symbol team. I want to say the team was the Lizard. Storm.
That's the one before. That's the saga before that, though. Okay. It all leads up together. Leads up to it, yeah. But yeah, that's the part that comes before. But that's kind of cool because he has Storm. Storm was barely used. It was like she was there, and then all of a sudden she's like, "I'm commanding troops from back here." And then it's like you don't see Storm again. It's like, oh, good thing that's all over with.
Well, it was like it was Storm. It was the Fantastic Four.
It was Iron Man.
Was it Iron Man or War Machine?
No, it's Iron Man. War Machine is in an episode, but he's in it way earlier.
I thought he was good buddies with War Machine in that show. But
no, he got.
Well, he was there a few times. War Machine was Iron Man, and then like I want to say there's like the
Captain
Lizard.
America and the Lizard.
Captain America and the Lizard.
And then he brings Black Cat, and then she's all pissy at him at first because she was fighting along with Blade and the vampire guy. What's his name from?
Blade
Spider-Man?
was in the show.
Yeah, he's in that. He's in there more than anybody.
I don't remember. Maybe if I saw him, I remember it. But yeah, does he look kind of like Wesley Snipes' Blade?
He really does. Yeah, he actually kind of looks a lot. He's got kind of like light hair, so he has this like kind of look that you almost feel like. He almost doesn't really look black right off the bat. He's got a black voice, but he almost looks like he could be, I don't know, like Cuban or something like that, because his hair's like brown.
Okay.
It's kind of weird. But, no, yeah, he looks like that. Yeah, and I say he's probably in like 6 or 8 episodes. He's in more than almost any other guest star. More than the X-Men, more than Punisher, more than Iron Man.
Well, I didn't know Blade was based on a comic when I first saw the movie. And I remember when I was reading Ultimate Spider-Man, I was catching up on that, and I turned the page, and when it went like, Blade's there suddenly, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Blade's a Marvel character?
Yeah, even if you watch the movies, it's almost like you didn't really put 2 and 2 together as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of cool like that. But yeah, that show's all the way good so far. The only downfall is you get to the very end, everything's pretty much like kind of wrapped up, but then you go, oh, wait a second, because they throw this thing in there that's actually like a real tough thing when you think about it for like almost like a kid's cartoon, but it's this interesting thing that the real Mary Jane is still like lost in some time vortex. Because when Mary Jane comes back, Spider-Man's like, oh, great, Mary Jane came back, because the Green Goblin had this time vortex thing, and then she got sucked away with him, and Spider-Man was like, fuck it, shit is fucked up, gonna break everything, it's this fucking costume, driving me up the fucking wall. Except he's not saying that, but it's damn close to it.
Stay tuned on Fox Kids. We said fuck it. We were just like literally said fuck it. We don't care what the rating board says. This is art. These kids are gonna hear this some point in their life. Why not now?
Well, it's like there's moments where Peter Parker has like mental breakdowns and things like that. And then, that's also where, like, he starts kind of, like, hanging out with the black cat and everything like that. It's kind of like,
we don't want you hanging out with the black cat.
Yeah.
That black cat's a bad influence on you, Peter.
But, like, it is kind
of... Hang out with that white tiger instead.
But then it's weird because, like, Mary Jane comes back and she's there and you're like, oh, everything's there. But it's like, they're like, they never got around to explaining that. And all of a sudden there's that episode where, like, the water kind of guy comes back. What's his name?
Is it... Hydro Man or something
like that. I don't think it's a man name, but I think it's something like that.
Hydro or some bullshit.
Yeah. So there's that guy and stuff like that, and then you realize that like this guy was created in the lab. This guy actually created that same Mary Jane version, so it's actually
not. She dissolved. She wasn't even the real Mary Jane.
She like dissolves like in his arms. It's like she's just like a clone, and it's just like, oh, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. And then as it goes on, it's like that. The show ends, and it's like, oh. He never gets Mary Jane back. It says it right there at the very end. It's like, oh, I guess I gotta go figure out where Mary Jane is. But it's weird. It's like, that's the last episode?
I wonder, well, there's a second series.
There's Spider-Man Unlimited, but I don't think that's the same show. I think that's completely different.
Well, I think it's a continuation of that. I think that it's, maybe I'm wrong, but I think he goes in the future looking for Mary Jane. I think that's what
there's only like 13 episodes, because that show, I guess I remember when that show came out. And that was the one where it's like, where they used Spider-Man with like the webbing between the armpits, which I remember as a kid, I was like, that looks fucking weird.
Yeah, well, I think it's one of those things they did to like try and compete with Batman Beyond.
Yeah, and, it definitely wasn't the Batman Beyond thing. But they say the main reason like they canceled that one, like it just went for like
it was just fucking stupid.
Well, no, it came out with like Pokemon.
Oh,
Pokemon
really?
just fucked that show up like nobody. Like, because I think, well, it makes sense though, because I think about myself as being like that time period. Second the anime started coming out and it was just like everywhere, you're like, you literally just took all your American shows and you just tossed them out the fucking window.
I just see like Spider-Man just walking out of the Fox Kids office, just starts like, oh yeah, getting this new show here. Comes to the corner, you just see like Pikachu, Squirtle, just kind of leaning against the corner, like
smoking cigarettes next to like the water cooler. Like, hey, you're not supposed to smoke in here. Pika. Just says, what the fuck you gonna do about it?
Like flicks it at his face.
Oh, hey guys.
So they start like shoving him, like they're like knee length, like Pika, Squirtle. What you gonna do, bitch? What you gonna do?
He sees like Wolverine like packing up a box. Like, Wolverine, what are you doing? He's like, yeah, bub. Guess they don't need us old timers anymore.
He just has like a stick and bindle, just walking down the road. Just hops right on a train.
You should see what they did to Bruce Wayne. What they did to Bruce Wayne? Just this old man Bruce Wayne, like, what happened there? He aged like 40 years.
I had dreams once. It wasn't supposed to be like this. Help me! They just wheel him off into another room.
No, I know that the Fox Kids didn't have Batman at that point, but still, whatever. They had Batman originally.
It fits.
Yeah, still fits.
No, I remember. Was it like somebody I know? Like, was it? I won't say her name because I don't want to get her. I don't want to. But somebody I know was like they said they were crying when they first saw Batman Beyond, saying like, I can't believe it, all that, and he's just a sad old man living by himself, like just full on crying. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I mean that's kind of how I honestly see Batman, sort of though.
Yeah, it's not like he's gonna. I don't picture Batman like he's not gonna be somebody who's with a bunch of other people.
I don't see it being a Dark Knight Rises ending. I see it being he's an old man living by himself, maybe once a month, maybe. Dick comes by and visits him, or he'll go out to get like dinner with like Clark or Diana. Clark, Diana, or Gordon like once a month maybe.
Yeah, it's like he has like one social engagement. Then other than that, though, he's just like an old man like petering around his house.
Or he's just leading the revolution from like a commander's chair, just until the day he dies.
Yeah.
I like that one more.
Yeah, there's that one too. Or there's the one where he just gets a bunch of boys and he's just like, do my bidding.
Exactly, like Dark Knight.
And he drives around in the bat van, like picking up children off the street.
Like it slowly just creeps up. The van door just slowly slides open. You just see two like white bat isolates just like get in the van.
He takes on like a rope. He's got like a bat doll tossed to it. He tosses it out like onto like the playground, and then one grabs it and he starts reeling it in. You just got drafted into a war. Yeah, gives them that speech. Slaps a ramen costume on it. Spray paints a number on their back, and then he sends them out.
That's the reason why they never got Volume 2 of All-Star and Batman and Robin, Boy Wonder.
No, that was what they wanted to go. They wanted to go with the bat van. Showing up at elementary schools. He's like, I gotta get when they're young, before they know better.
I like, we get what you're trying to say, Frank. Well, I think. I get what you're trying to say, I think. But... does it gotta be a playground? Does it have to be a van? Like, that's fucking life. It's these capitalist pigs, Frank, shut the fuck up. Just chill out for a minute.
It's like, why could Big Boss get away with it?
The only ones that can change the crippling system is the youth. And we gotta bring them into it before they even realize it, man. Alright, Frank, just chill the fuck out.
He's like, I already got my own van outside. You joining me? It works great. Watch this. Chucks a Batman doll. Some kid grabs it onto, he starts reeling it in. Like a giant fishing rod.
That fan fell apart. So I'm going to try it with like 300. And like, kids just like, what's that book? I don't know. They open it up, one page, like, there's a lot of dicks in it. They just go back to like playing volleyball or whatever.
You probably throw, here's a Leonidas doll. It's like, yeah! Just like one of those like ones where it's stuffed with like wide eyes and everything like that. But it's Leonidas instead.
Googly eyes, maybe.
Yeah, Google. So you shake it, he's like...
you push him in his belly.
This is Sparta! Yeah, and then he just has like, with kick action.
Just like a... Just like kind of like
well, it looks like he's kicking somebody in the dick instead.
Yeah.
It's like not even really that good. It's like not even like a kung fu grip or anything, but...
Yeah.
But no, it's like, I actually kind of want to go out and check out that Spider-Man Unlimited show, because I remember when I was a kid, it was like, not my Spider-Man! Mm. And then Pokemon came out, I was like, who cares? It was literally that's exactly what happened.
Pokemon kind of ruled my life for about 2 years.
So, yeah, so minus that was poor Spider-Man, but...
It kind of like sort of nudged Batman out of the way a little bit by that point.
Yeah, there was a period where like, that's why I always feel kind of bad, because like when that Justice League show, I didn't watch the Justice League show when it came out, because... There was Inuyasha, and there was Big O, and there was Cowboy Bebop, and all kinds of other stuff to watch instead. Which, sadly enough, other than Cowboy Bebop, I don't think Justice League was way better than all the other ones.
Yeah, same thing here. I'm thinking back on that. I kind of caught a couple random episodes here and there and liked what I saw, but it wasn't until I think Batman Begins that made me want to start reading comics, because Batman Begins reminded me why I liked Batman so much. Yeah. So, and I had like a train ride. I'm like, I'll buy a couple Batman issues. I bought all of Batman Hush.
Which at the end of the day, I still think that's like the best comic book of all time.
That's like the perfect starting to have, this Batman Hush.
Well, it's almost like you hit the pinnacle at the beginning. Because really, it's like, when I think about it, I'm like, I think that's probably my favorite comic out of anybody's comic. That one's just like, it's like the perfect story.
It's everything. It's like all of his major villains. Not all of them. Most of his major villains.
A brand new villain, and
then it's also like artwork by Jim Lee.
And so it's by
Jeff Loeb.
So it's like...
at the time, the name Jeff Loeb doesn't mean anything to you, but Jim Lee's like a synonymous.
Yeah, you kind of know him already, sort of, just through
because you just seen his art everywhere. But Jeff Loeb, he's not trying to downplay him. I'm just saying to like some like 14-year-old kid or 15-year-old kid who just stumbled upon that book, that name means nothing. But as time goes on, though, it gets a lot more bigger. But yeah, that's what caught me reading Batman. Was seeing Batman Begins, like, I'm going to check out the comics, because I just was reminded why I like this character so much. And then I'm like, well, it's Justice League Unlimited show, and I happen to just land on the episode that's about Batman Beyond, the flashback episode.
Oh yeah,
that's for when I watched. Oh my god,
like just led you in instantly.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, it's like I kind of want to watch the Spider-Man Unlimited one. I saw it online. You could get there's only 13 episodes, but it's kind of expensive. At least on Amazon it was. So I couldn't find one on
Do you have an official release? Or
I think it did have an official release, strangely enough.
Because
that one's probably owned... I think that one... Sony might have did that one. I'm not too sure. Because that might have been like that weird switch-off place. Because that show was 99, so... God, that would have been right before the movie came out, so it would make sense if Sony did own it by that point.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's even the reason why it switched. But I don't think it's a continuation, though. I think it is something different. Because it doesn't have the same writer on it.
Well, maybe writer regardless, I think they're continuing the same story, like a brand new series. I think it's a continuation.
I thought, I don't know.
It's not.
We'll have to check it.
Because I'm going to say
the guy who wrote it, like, dude, I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy wrote like 90% of those Spider-Man the Animated Series episodes.
I wonder if they just kind of like said like, yeah, we don't give a shit. Show's ending. It's not selling, but we got to end it for for the kids. Fuck the kids.
Throw Stan Lee in there.
They ain't buying the fucking toys.
Well, it's weird because it's like I remember I thought that the whole time watching, like I knew it was coming up on the end because I was on the very last disc and everything like that. But I was like, you could probably have wrapped that up in like one episode, the Mary Jane thing. Like it wouldn't have taken that long to do. Hell, you could have wrapped it up in like a quarter of one.
Or he just went back home. She was there, like a reset time somehow.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
If I could turn back time,
the way it used to be. I think those are the words.
It's like, oh, that's old Bruce Wayne. That's what he keeps singing now in the Fox office. That's all you hear. He won't leave that office.
Just get Kevin Conroy.
They're going to have to get the Monster Rancher kid to get in there and throw him out.
Fucking Monster Rancher.
He shows up in there like arms crossed. Well, Bruce Wayne.
He's like roller skating around him, like slowly.
He's got like he's like playing the PlayStation like the whole time. It's like just like floating and everything like that. And he's got like the eyeball creature next to him and a couple other ones. Like
Wazo, I think his name.
Yeah,
is.
well, he's like, guess Will, it looks like who we gonna toss out today, you old fuck.
The rabbit comes in like pinning his fist.
It's like Bruce Wayne's like, no, I don't want to leave. This is all I know. It was a good place for me here. This is when they started taking me seriously. Damn it.
The little like pink like turtle thing comes rolling in. Like, let's waste this fuck Mochi.
It's like, well, who are we gonna keep from the old game? Well, we do have a Ninja Turtle show, but they've been like enhanced for a 2000s audience.
I just imagine just fucking Monster Ranch. Now it's like I know I brought it up at some point, but I keep on forgetting about fucking Monster Rancher. It just keeps on coming back like Freddy Krueger.
Well, Monster Rancher was that one. It's like once you watch Pokemon and then you watch Digimon, then you had Monster Rancher. It was like the third one you fell into.
It's not even like the Target one. It's literally like the Kmart one.
It really is. Yeah, it's definitely like that. I will say it's like I watched it as a kid.
I watched it.
Well, I watched anything that came on TV that was animated as a kid. But
I watched the first 14 episodes. I remember they had one season of 14 episodes or so, and then eventually I don't know if they brought in the other season or if it just ended or what. But I remember it was the kid. They had the human girl who's the voice of reason. They had what was essentially their Pikachu, which was the little like Mochi.
Yeah, Mochi.
Turtle.
That was the
little turtle, like platypus, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
The eyeball thing, and then the hair. The big rabbit guy. Then there was it was a wolf with horns, but his name was Tiger.
So it's confusing.
Yeah, I was a little thrown off there. And he was the dark, mysterious one. And they had like a demi-devil lady who they tried to make look kind of hot. And
right.
She would be kind of like a frenemy. Like she'd do some bad shit, and then she might help him out later or something.
That was the one that I remember if you put Dead or Alive in the Monster Rancher game, like you got like kind of a version like her, the devil one, but it was Kasumi.
Oh, because
they're both Tecmo games.
Oh, that makes sense.
So it was kind of like that was one of the things. That was the thing. Like the game had a cool concept. I will say, like especially back in the day, you're like, dude, because then you start being like, dude, I don't know. Like, what's this, like, Neil Young CD gonna give me? Like, as a kid, you don't know that's, like...
They just get, like, an old, like, you just get, like... You got old man!
Yeah.
Just, like, this crusty old... Careful, he only has 5 HP.
Mm-hmm. He's fragile.
But he can really lower their defenses.
But I remember, like, pulling out, like, I don't know, tips and tricks or something like that. And they had, like, a big fatty list of, like, here's 300 CDs or whatever that, and they showed, like, what you would get off them and everything like that. And there was, like, a Metallica one in there. And there was... Because I think those are still before... Well, you couldn't put DVDs in there because they had to be all CDs, but...
I heard Metallica Black gave you the hardest one to find, which was the Phoenix. Because the whole plot line of the show... I never played the game. The plot line of the show was... We gotta go find the fucking Phoenix and control the Phoenix because it could take over the world or whatever. So
yeah, that's right.
I heard the Metallica Black gave you that. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe I know there was a Metallica CD in there, and they had all kinds of different things like that. And there are certain games, like all the Tecmo games, would work on there from PlayStation. And I mean, you put any CD in. That was kind of the cool thing, no matter what. So you didn't recognize if you put Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in there. If it was on the CD disc, remember those movies?
Yeah.
There's a period where it's like, what the fuck kind of quality is that?
Well, what about the? You said did it play like, was it an RPG like Battler, or was it kind of like Harvest Moon where you have to actually get these things and ranch them or whatever? Like I wasn't sure how it played.
If I remember correctly, it was definitely RPG like. It was like Pokemon, but it was like in a 3D world, so it kind of almost gave you the game probably doesn't hold up nearly as well like other stuff did, but it was at the time period. It was like, dude, they're actually doing a 3D world that like Pokemon should be, but at least you get it in Monster Rancher.
And then you go to a shrine. Well, you maybe get a disc, and then when you find that disc, you go to a shrine. And that's where you pop in the CD or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, you could get characters in the game, but you could also get them through the disc, too.
Oh, okay.
And I think you could almost do the disc thing. I almost want to say you could do it, like, literally in the menu before you even start the game. So you could, like, load them up on your memory card and then, like, go in and play it. As I said, I probably haven't played it since 1999.
Monster Rancher, Jesus Christ. I remember as a kid being like, oh, they're trying to be Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, I remember because people used to say that about Digimon, but I'm like, dude, Digimon had a whole year before Pokemon got there. Like, that's the one thing that people sort of forget is Digimon. In Japan, yes, it's a ripoff of Pokemon, but in America, it got here before Pokemon did by a complete year. You know, I mean, obviously it was just the Digimon, like, battling, like, Tamagotchis, but...
It's funny because you kind of hear about, like, there's, like, apparently the guy who made Pokemon, he's dead. And, you hear about some of the things he wanted to do with it, and it sounded like he was this guy who was really trying to just kind of he had a vision, and he was trying to make a kid's thing, but almost kind of take it in weird directions, and then, like, Nintendo stepped in, like, the Nintendo suits, like, stepped in, like, yeah, you know, that's great and all, but, because originally he wanted the show to progress with the audience. Like, he said he didn't want it to be, like, rated R at any point.
He wanted to be like a Dragon Ball, or, like, well, because a lot of animes are kind of like that. They get older as...
Like, he wanted it to be, like, he wanted Ash to age with the audience. And so he wanted the stories to get a little bit more heavier at some point. But they're like, yeah, well, you see, there's always going to be a 10-year-old kid, and our biggest market right now is American boys from 7 to 12. So Ash is always going to remain 10, because that's a good middle.
So they just, like, slap a picture of, like, generic American boy, and well, look at that cocksucker!
look at cocksucker! Those big, beautiful cocksucking lips!
Yes.
Good for this right here.
But it's one of those ones.
Is this how every meeting goes? Is you always like just call Americans cocksuckers?
It stems from World War II. Don't bring it up. Yeah. But well, it is one of those ones. I think they were thinking small scale at that time period. I think nobody thought Pokemon was going to be as big as it was. Mm-hmm. They thought it was like, dude, we're going to capture this in like a couple of years, and that's going to be it. Because I think in hindsight, because nowadays it's like they should have did that. Because you look at it like, dude, Pokemon's just as popular, and the audience that liked it at 10 years old when it came out is now almost 30 years old, and they still want Pokemon. Like,
well, it's still, I still see, like, I was at the mall today on my way here, and I stopped into a hat store for a second, and I literally saw a bunch of Pokemon hats, like 151 hats, you know, and it's one of those things where it's kind of like, it went away for a while, but it came back, and I think that it went away because people were afraid they're going to get judged, like, you like fucking Pokemon, and then it came back when you don't care, like I remember that shit.
Well, yeah, because we talked about before in the podcast, but it was like...
The 4 dark years for Pokemon.
There was a 4 dark years, and it was like, you couldn't even pull a Pokemon thing out. You had to, like, hide it under your bed and lock it up, never speak of it again. You know? One of those kind of moments. And then all of a sudden, it was like in high school, I just remember it was like somebody brought a Game Boy in, and it was just like, it was okay. It was a magical moment, really. Somebody brought a Game Boy in playing Pokemon and go, you know what, I fucking love this shit. I'm going to be loud and proud and express myself. They stand up holding the Game Boy, like, fucking, like, high. Then you see others walk up to the audience, raise their Game Boys up in the air, you know, and then...
They know.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. It became like, it went from the underground to being like, no. This could be on Front Street. We're gonna fucking march down Washington. We're gonna let fucking Bill Clinton know that we can still play Pokemon.
Like, oh shit, they're bombing. They're coming for us. They're coming for us.
He's like, I haven't been president for a while. It's like, they don't remember any differently.
I will say, there was, when you said the 4 dark years of Pokemon, what comes to mind mainly for that is I just imagine, like, somebody's going through like a middle school, they go in the janitor's closet, in the corner they find like an old-fashioned Game Boy Color, and then like,
Game Boy Color, like the old green one.
Yeah, and then like a notebook, and it's just this diary saying like, I've been hiding in here for 2 months now, hoping the other boys don't find me. I generally believe that all people are at heart good, but I will someday to play Pokemon in peace out in the public. Like, oh, I hear the noises. They found me. Like there's like it scribbles off, like scratched off the sheet, like they found him, pulled him away.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was taking it, like kind of like how in Monty Python the Holy Grail, it's almost like he finishes his line while dying.
Yeah.
But it is one of those ones you think about. Like, dude, you literally could have Ash be 30 years old right now, and that'd be okay. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, that would totally work with the audience.
Well, I got off topic there for a second, but there's some stuff he was actually talking about doing. He was pitching the idea that Pikachu leads a revolution. Like, it's weird. There's one kid who told me, like, in the Japanese version, this is what happens. And he gives me his weird, fucked up little fan fiction. I'm like, oh, wow, well, he's older, and he has internet, so he must be telling the truth. And then later I hear this, like, oh, maybe he was kind of inspired by this. Apparently, he was talking about having an episode where Pikachu leads a revolution against the human masters, and he's using he wants to use Meowth as his mouthpiece to say how they're tired of fighting for all the humans.
It'd be better if the Meowth wasn't there, so it was just like Pikachu on stage, like pick up, pick up,
Yeah,
and it's just like
it's just this barrage of all these other Pokemon just like they're
yeah, no subtitles.
Oh, like Bulbasaur!
There's like Pikachu walking across the stage, just back and forth, like shouting out like all this stuff. It's like, oh, that's why Pikachu had to leave at that time.
Like a Black Panthers rally or some shit.
They're just going up there like, we gotta fight for equal rights now.
Yeah.
And then Meowth doesn't really want to be part of it. He's like,
Poke Lives Matter.
Yeah, Poke Lives Matter. That's what they're going with. You know, it's like, then there's like all these guys like, but I like my master. No, you fucking don't! Pika.
They see Meowth like, you Uncle Tom motherfucker.
Yeah, Meowth would be that one. They got him fucking strung up there like on a cross, and they're gonna like burn like a witch in front of everybody.
Like Charizard comes out, like sets that fucker.
He's got like a black mask on, like he's kind of like the executioner.
How no one knows which one it is.
It's not like you can't tell the difference. It's to protect him from other Charizards.
Yeah.
It's one of those kind. So his identity's kept safe for his family.
Yeah.
You see like some like Charizard family out there like a Charmeleon and like this whole like group of them, they got like the masks on too.
Charmeleon with like acne and fucking like braces.
Don't want to fucking be here, Dad. I want to be at your hate rally.
It's important that you see history, boy. I just want to go to my room. What? Jerk off again? No, maybe
I do.
I'll fucking do that, Dad.
I'll do whatever I want, Dad.
Charmander, shut your fucking idiot brother up. All I can say is his fucking name, even in our language.
Yeah.
Charmander!
Even when it's translated.
Charmander! Just like, shut the fuck up, Dylan.
Yeah, I fucking hate you.
Charmander! Dylan! You're fucking 3 years old in Pokemon years. You can fucking say you can say something other than your real... fuck you.
Yo, I was fucking talking when I was level 2. What's your fucking experience?
Charmander!
But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff like that.
But another thing he actually pitched was the idea that, like, at the series was, like... There's the whole theory that Ash, like, it's all a coma because he...
gets electrocuted at the very beginning.
Yeah, and he's just having, like, a coma fantasy. Which, it's like, no, they're not...
His
that
body's
show
just
is
like...
not
It's
deep
just
enough.
like... It's just choked, like Professor Oak's like, oh, fuck! He, like, takes his body, he's, like, dragging it out. He's, like, throws it in the back of, like a car, like... all mangled up. Ash is like,
Pikachu's like still alive, just like almost like a vegetable, like you know, just like
he's
wide-eyed
like,
and
get
shit.
the fucking car, we gotta get out of here. And Professor Oak's like driving, and then he sees like Officer Joe, and he's like, oh fuck, he's like sweating bullets. shit. Okay, Pikachu, just be the fuck, calm the fuck down. He puts like a little blanket over him in the back seat and everything. He's like, oh hi Jenny, how's it going?
How's it going, Professor?
Oh, you know, just doing the old professor things, you know, transporting, Pokeballs.
and then Pikachu's like, what's that noise? Like, what's, oh shit, on the fucking ground, get on the fucking ground! All of a sudden, like, he, like, sends, like, a Growlithe, like, just Mars, fucking neck.
It fucking peels out. Driving away.
Fuck!
He takes a fucking stick and just starts smacking the Pikachu with it. Like a cane or something.
I'm gonna lose my fucking PhD over this shit! Fuck!
Ain't none of the fucking professors lasers and all the fucking regions are going to respect me now.
Shit. Pikachu, you like Mexico?
You never been to the Mexico part of Pokemon World? We've been everywhere else.
All there is Tauroses.
Exactly. There's also one called Burrito Mon. Yeah, we all thought that sounded bad too, but clearly he looks like a burrito. What else are you gonna call him?
Yeah. No, but yeah, Pokemon.
Exactly. Well, you saw the new Wonder Woman movie, right?
Yeah, I know you did too.
Yeah, it did. It was a good one.
I liked it. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I'll say it's one of those things. I don't want to sound like someone who's just like trying to be so like trying to like I'm so happy for every movement, you know. But I mean, I want to say that I actually am pretty happy though. That like I went there and there was a lot of girls there and a lot of even young girls there,
Older people,
and the theater. Like a couple moments in the movie, the theater just cheered when like when she just fucking got up the part. Spoilers ahead, folks. When she got up to the no man's land and she's in the outfits all slow motion. Like, every woman in the audience just fucking cheered right there. And that just had me so happy to fucking see that.
Well, that's like the one thing that makes the Wonder Woman movie like actually really good, because technically there's never really been a Marvel or DC movie that starred a main female except for Catwoman.
Yeah, we're trying to forget. I mean, there's, you had Elektra, but I mean...
Oh, yeah, I guess there's Elektra, too.
I mean, they have...
And Elektra, I will say this, Catwoman and Elektra, this sounds kind of weird, and I guess you could say Wonder Woman's this too. I was going to say, those two are more spin-offs. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It was more like Elektra's made because Daredevil was already there. It's not like Elektra came before Daredevil. Let's say that.
Yeah.
And then Catwoman, I mean, technically, because of Batman already, you could kind of make the Catwoman one. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I will say, once again, Wonder Woman, technically, you had her in the last Batman v Superman. But still, granted aside, here was a big, huge movie that people seriously threw money at.
Well, I feel like it's one of those things that, like, we've had kick-ass females in movies and television and all that.
Well, yeah, it's common for that, but just not the DC Marvel section.
Well, at the same time, though, I feel like, there are badass females in movies, but they rarely seem to get the big budget production, mainstream scale, film.
Yeah.
And especially, Wonder Woman's a character who should have had this years ago. Fucking years ago.
Yeah, like, literally, like, fucking 80s. Like, when they made Batman, this should have been, like, the next one they did, almost.
Yeah, and then...
When they did Superman, this should have been the next one they did.
And I want to say...
They did the TV show, but...
As early as 2009, I want to say they were doing a Wonder Woman movie, like, you know what? People don't want to see a female superhero. It's just like...
Which is so odd when you say that, because it's like, what was the 2000s all about? 2000s was, like, the most pro-female time period ever, because you think about it, you had Resident Evil... had a female star the whole way through. That wasn't even necessary because most Resident Evils, it's a male's the main character. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's kind of an odd one. You had Tomb Raider. You had Underworld. You know what I mean? Like, it was a big time period for female leads, and it was almost like, okay. So it seems like, what do you mean people don't want to see that? Unless it's maybe one of those ones that are like, well, the early 2000s. This is late 2000s, you fuck.
Yeah. Well, it's also at the same time, I think that the reason it's important is because it's her name. It's like Resident Evil, like Alice is just a character.
Yeah,
Aliens... Ripley, she's the main character, and she's probably one of the best characters in science fiction, in my opinion. But she's also, like, it's not her name. She's, like, just the main character of the series. This is literally called Wonder Woman, and they give it the big budget, and I think they did a good job, because I think some people, a lot of, like, I mean, I wasn't worried about this, but, yeah, I've heard some people saying they were scared it was going to try and make all the men look weak and all the women look super strong, and I wasn't worried about that.
And that's not really true at all.
That's not the case at all with the movie, and the movie was totally, like... She is the best part of the movie still, but it is like I think everybody kind of adds to it, The only characters that seemed weak to me were just the General and Dr. Poison.
Yeah, well, and Dr. Poison was just like a scientist, I guess. Yeah,
well, I mean, actually, that General, I looked it up because I was like, what DC character is that? Oh, he's not a DC character. He's actually a historical figure.
Yeah, I know, because I remember Josh pointed that out when we were watching it. Because he like knew all the World War I history real well, so I was like, oh, that was a real person. Which even probably like the family name's like, whoa, Jesus Christ, we know he did some bad things, but you gotta make him go out and make him some superhero villain.
He didn't die in World War I. He was part of the coup, and when like Hitler made his first attempt to overthrow the government from the Beer Hall March.
Huh.
He was a part of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So he didn't die in World War I.
Well, I didn't say he died in World War I.
I know, but I'm just saying
yeah.
because in the movie he dies in World War I.
Yeah, he dies by that, which I guess does that make it that World War II doesn't start as much?
I guess maybe. Well, it's DC's alternate history. So.
Yeah, it's DC's.
I'll just say that those are the only two characters that just seem kind of. I don't know where I heard it, but someone said like it seemed kind of like Boris and Natasha. Like we must kill Moose and Squirrel. The two of them acted together.
That is kind of true. Like it's not slapsticky like that because when you say it like that, that's almost how it feels. But like if you said like if you did Boris and Natasha, it's a little bit more serious. That's how it literally does feel.
Well, there's even that part where he like throws him like. They like he says the gas mask won't help them. They don't know that. They're laughing, giggling,
and
they both like scurry up the stairs.
Yeah, Zach. I guess that is true there. But well, that's the one thing I did kind of notice, like in the movie though, because the thing about Wonder Woman is she's so powerful that it's kind of like I feel bad for all those poor like German guys that have to like fight her because it's like they literally have no chance whatsoever. I mean, it's no different than Superman showing up and just starting punching fucking like soldiers in the face. Like, what are they gonna fucking do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's just as powerful as Superman. Like, there's no difference. So I thought that's the only thing you kind of. It's like. There was a while where it's like, she really needs somebody to actually fight. Like, you know what I mean? These poor saps, you know, it's not like, see, Batman, like, he can fight regular people, and that's okay, because Batman has an equal advantage against them. He just happens to be that much more trained, but one bullet down, that could be it. Or Wonder Woman could be shot and be like, get right back up, and then go fucking take that bullet out and throw it at the guy's fucking head.
Well, it was kind of like, it was sort of like a, how do I put it? Kind of like a Star-Lord thing, sort of. Bear with me on this. But it's kind of like, you see Guardians of the Galaxy 1, you think he's a normal guy. It's like, oh, there's something weird to you. Okay, cool, whatever. And they get to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and they say, you're actually a god. None of that stuff could kill you. But the only thing that could probably kill you is ego. And if you kill ego, that means he's the source of your power, you lose your power. So it's kind of one of those things where the movie is kind of going off like, she's stronger than other people, but you don't realize, oh, wait. Yeah. That's not going to kill her. It's one of those things like she doesn't realize herself that because we're watching her kick all this ass.
Because nobody's really told her yet.
Nobody's told her.
Which seems kind of like, it's like, we got to keep this away from her.
Yeah, and then it's once she faces off against Ares at the end where it's kind of like, yeah, a bullet's not going to fucking kill you. Duh.
Yeah. Well, because it's like, well, what do you think about that general? If that general 100% knew, that's like, she would not have taken the arrow for Wonder Woman. She would have been like, oh, fuck. She could have just, like, taken that arrow and just, like wiped it off like it was fucking dust on her shoulder.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that because, like, yeah, like, was that Robin Wright that got killed right there?
It was, well, that's not, I don't know if that's the actress's name, but,
Jenna.
Robin Wright is definitely not like an old Greek name.
Yeah, I know. Was that Jenna who died?
Yeah. That might have been, actually. I didn't think about that, but I think you're
right. It's either her mother or the general.
I think actually her mother might be Jenna.
Okay.
But, which, you know, it's kind of funny. Okay, this kind of goes back to, like, remember when we were talking about Thor and saying, like, well, what if it was the other way around and then, like, Norse was the main religion of the world still? And then it was happened to be, like, the Jesus movie? I thought about it this way. What if Greek was still the main, like, religion of the world? And, like, what would this movie be like? Jesus woman?
Jesus woman!
Jesus woman!
World's waiting for you.
Jesus woman!
Able to run across water.
Yeah, she's been living in a small village and like that's been hidden in Jerusalem.
Well, they all have Israeli accents.
Yeah, well, they all kind of give it like, well, because it's supposed to be like, I always picture that like Themyscira is supposed to be like in the Mediterranean, just somewhere out there which is kind of weird, like, because I always thought that was more like shielded, but it's like it literally just shows these like. Germans just happen to like stumble across. It's like,
oh shit!
It's like, what, does this not happen? You think this was happening every fucking day? Like, be like, oh my god, I was out sailing. I was going from Greece down to Africa, and guess what I ran into? You know what I mean? It's either that, or there's just like this humongous grave that like we don't see in Themyscira, where they just like chuck bodies in there for the last like 2,000 years plus.
We got another pile of dicks here, just chucking all these dead men into a pile.
Yeah, there's just like this like ginormous, massive grave in the back.
They hold on to 2 or 3 for the sake of breeding, and they fucking like.
Even though they technically don't need to because they live forever, so
yeah.
They live forever until they get shot.
Yeah.
Until somebody comes by with a gun.
Yeah. So. No, but that was one of those things where I was like, maybe I was wondering how they found it so easily like that, or it'd be like one of those things like, oh, once every like couple of cycles, the defense is down just for a minute, and they just so happen to land on that day.
This is my kind of theory, and I'm going to use this as like because somebody could complain about this, but I'm like, well, in the movie wise, maybe what it is that when Steve comes in the plane, since there's never been a plane before coming through there, you could break the shield from the top, which that allowed the boats to come in from the bottom. But before in time, the boats would always just like go around it. It'd just be like, it would kind of like make them wrap around without them really realizing it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's what it sort of was.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Steve Trevor's fault because he comes flying down.
Fucking men coming fucking everything up.
It's okay though.
Yeah,
it's Captain Kirk.
Well, I'll say he was one of the best parts of the movie.
Oh, he was. I love that actor in so many things.
He was just actually funny too. He wasn't like, it was like they had humor in this, but it didn't feel like that like forced humor.
Well, because it still felt like it was Man of Steel and Batman v Superman. It was still in that same world. Because I was kind of wondering if they're gonna like try to change it. But it's like no, they're still going like fuck you. We got our style. We're gonna stay with it. So I have to give them credit for just like carrying on and saying no, this is what we are, and
I think they're gonna
slightly progress it.
I think they're gonna make a slow transition with it because whether you love or hate Suicide Squad, that felt like kind of a transition to a certain extent.
Well, that one definitely did because that one's almost one of those ones like until you kind of think about it, you're like, oh, that is kind of the same world. It does feel like it's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Like almost like it could be.
I think
just
it's more
spin-off.
the music cues that make it seem like a different world more than anything else.
Yeah, because that's not really in anything else.
And that one had a lot more humor in it, but that felt like it was just like, pour the humor on. I'm just pouring that shit on.
Yeah.
You know, with not like stopping. Where this one, the humor all felt pretty natural, and there was even like it was balanced out well between everything being serious and everything being dramatic. I'm going to say my two big complaints. One of them I already said, which was I thought the General and Dr. Poison were kind of lame. Maybe if they used Dr. Poison a little differently.
And I will say, I don't think Ares should have had the mustache the whole time. Like
I honestly thought that was going to be
because when
like,
it showed him back in the day,
it's
so he had like, because he's just like this old nerdy British guy now. It's like I just thought that was like
he was the werewolf from Harry Potter.
Yeah, and I just thought that was like okay. I just assumed that'd be like okay, this is just the disguise he has, and it's like then they showed like a flashback. It's like oh, so he was always an old nerdy looking British guy, which is odd.
I assumed that like once he actually got the armor on, because you could still see his face partially through the armor.
He's still
that same dude. I thought he was actually gonna like turn into a little bit more of a monster or something. I thought his eyes were gonna turn red, his face was gonna go super pale, like unnaturally like pale white or something like that, you know. But no, he's still the same dude, just in that badass armor. But
Which is it just wasn't
didn't bother me because
he still did a good job. I'm not saying it's it, but it made me just kind of laugh when I looked at it. I couldn't take him nearly as serious because he just looked like this goofy old nerdy British guy who was supposed to be the god of war. Instead of like it should have been somebody. You almost should have had like realistically, you probably should have somebody like The Rock. We always use that as our like name drop for like everything. How do you make anything better? You throw The Rock on there. And don't remember, this guy, as I said, like I think it's the disguise. I thought it was perfect, but I felt like he should have turned into like more of a monster. I think he just because he didn't seem nearly as threatening when you could see this guy with a big old mustache and tiny chin.
The slit of the
I was just like, and then the weird thing too is when they showed the flashback of like 10,000 years ago, same mustache. I was like, what?
I'll say that like it's one of those things where I'm really glad they didn't advertise Ares in the trailer because it was one of those things where I'm like, he's probably in the movie, but I hope they surprise me because I got a feeling that General, so maybe the General's Ares, but no, they're playing it too hard on the nose. The General's not Ares. He's not Ares. And then like he dies very unceremoniously, like it's not a big deal. And then like, okay, Ares is going to come in at some point. Like, yep, it's Ares. Fuck yeah, it's Ares. But the other thing that kind of bothered me, I wish there was a little bit more like, don't get me wrong, I really like the movie. I actually think, realistically, this is probably, I know a lot of people are going to scream blasphemy. My favorite of the modern, current run of the DC Universe movies.
So past Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah, past Dark Knight Rises is Man of Steel. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that movie's too dark. I don't think it's too cynical. I think that I think some things are coincidental. I think Batman v Superman is very cynical, and it just doubled down on a lot of that shit people said about Man of Steel. But regardless of that, I think Wonder Woman's my second favorite of these movies because it was a really good movie, but I kind of forgot at times I was watching a DC movie.
Well, there's periods where it's like, I just remember kind of sitting there, it's just like, I will say there was a little bit of lulls in it. That's about the only downfall. And I remember checking later, it's like, oh, this movie was like 2 hours and, it was 2 and 20 minutes. And I was like, I will say, I think this movie could have been trimmed down a little bit. That's my only thing is because I felt like sometimes during...
Like 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Like, yeah, like it would have been a perfect 2 hour movie. Because the only thing you can really compare it to, there's the Wonder Woman animated movie, and that movie is like a perfect 4 out of 4. And it probably has just as much content as this movie, if not more, and the movie's only like 90 minutes. So...
It's kind of like, because it is kind of like just it is like not your average World War I movie, because there's not very many World War I movies.
Yeah.
But it's like a World War I movie, and then in moments we get like some Wonder Woman action that's just pretty awesome. And don't get me wrong, it's a good movie. I really do enjoy this movie. I'm definitely going to buy it on Blu-ray when it comes out.
DC.
But I feel like I would have been cooler to see her fight some like Greek monsters or something else from the DC universe in this movie. Like, because all she's really fighting the whole time is just Germans.
And that's what I mean. Is like it kind of is like it's almost feels kind of like a bullying game because you're just like, well, none of these people are going to give her a challenge. Like, I think it's cool to watch her fight them in the very beginning, like when the Germans land on the shore, like, and they're all fighting the Amazons. Awesome scene. I actually think the best part of the movie is the very beginning. Strange enough, I think that's like the strongest part. Also, too, I think the other thing kind of bothers me later on. It's just weird, but it's like after a while, you're kind of like, it's just a big soundstage. Like you can just see it in the movie. It's like none of this is real. This is all soundstage stuff. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but it's just one of those ones like. Where the stuff in like Themyscira, who knows, that could be a lot more soundstage as well, but it looks a lot more like real stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And I do agree with you there too, is I think that would have been kind of cooler is to actually have like Ares maybe like have these other like monsters that she has to fight along the way and give it almost like a Wolfenstein, like World War I style, where it's like, here's Germans, but let's have them have a little bit of the occult, but what their occult this time is Greek gods occult because it's Ares is the one in charge. Like, I think that could have been there because I will say, as I said, like I think the movie starts off really strong. It's the middle part that has just a little bit of a lull. And I like the movie, but I wasn't like... I almost wanted to like the movie a little bit more than I did like it. Like, I really enjoyed it, and don't get me wrong.
I feel like we switched roles for this review.
I know. It's weird. And once again, I think it's also due to... You look at the DVD, or the
animated movie, which is perfect.
Animated movie's like 4 out of 4. It's 90 minutes long. It's got everything you could possibly want in a Wonder Woman movie, and more. And I think if that movie maybe didn't exist... Maybe I would like this one even more. I was like, I really like this movie. It's not saying I don't, but I just felt like there just could have been just either a little bit more action in there or just a little bit more like Wonder Woman-ness in there. Mm-hmm. I think, and then she doesn't necessarily need to be fighting, as I said, regular soldiers that often. Mm-hmm. It's cool a couple times, but then you kind of realize you're like, these poor bastards got.
There was like I thought
these poor bastards. They didn't want to sign up for this fucking job. Now they got to fight this.
The whole No Man's Land part was pretty awesome.
That part was cool. Like I think that's one of the parts that's fine. But just kind of like, even though it's once again, like, all the scenes are cool when she is fighting them, but it's like, it's literally watching somebody, it's like watching the Hulk fucking, like, beat up, like, people in New York City. It's like, what the fuck? Like, people that are like, oh, I'm gonna go get a hot dog to get, oh, fuck! And the Hulk just starts showing up and starts punching them, and then he starts grabbing some guy out of a taxi cab and just beats him down. You're like, okay, well, there's, like, what are they gonna do? You know what I mean?
That's one of those things, like, we know her powers, but at that point in the movie, the audience isn't aware that she is. If you know your Wonder Woman lore, which I don't know a ton of it, but I know enough.
Yeah.
But if you know your Wonder Woman lore, you know those bullets, they might hurt her, but they're not going to kill her. Where later in the movie, you find out, oh, something like that couldn't kill her. You know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's what it is too. Maybe if you went into this movie for fresh eyes and you didn't even know who Wonder Woman was, then that would probably work even better for you. But yeah, it was just that was just one of those ones where it's, yeah, I think that Ares should have summoned some other people to fight. There should have been more Greek in there, let's just say that.
Yeah, I think there should be more Greek, like...
Less World War I, more Greek. I mean, like, still keeping the World War I, keep that as the setting, but keep Greek as, like, the overtone.
Like, keep it, like, what's destroying this land, this countryside. Well, it's actually this monster of some kind.
Yeah, it's like...
She's got to track it down and go after Ares after that. But
yeah,
maybe she tracks down the monster thinking it's Ares, and then she finds out where Ares is and goes from there.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's about my only kind of thing is I just feel it's one of those ones like, I mean, yeah, once again, she doesn't know this, everybody else around her doesn't know this, but it's like, it's a fucking cakewalk for her until she gets to Ares.
Yeah.
It literally is this much of a, there's no fucking challenge, I think. I think that's the only thing. It's one of those movies that has like no challenge because you already kind of know who this is.
I do like how they play her off like she's not dumb or anything, but she's naive to the world and doesn't really know how it works out.
And that's how they mostly always introduce Wonder Woman at first, because she literally doesn't. She's literally like that, like almost like bookworm person who just read a bunch of shit that was like left there for like the last 4,000. Like Zeus literally just like came by with like a fucking cargo load out of like an oxen crate flying in the sky. He's like, here's some fucking shit. Read up. I don't want dumb women in my world. And then takes out. He's like, Zeus out. Woo!
Revs up his engine. You're just lightning bolts.
Yeah. But I think that's the thing, is that it would have been cool to see more Greek stuff in there. Because in a sense, like, even though I think, well, that's a good comparison. Like, what's better, Thor or Wonder Woman? Because Wonder Woman's pretty much, or Thor is pretty much the equivalent of Wonder Woman as far as like Marvel and DC's like.
I liked this more than both Thor movies.
And I probably would say that too, but at least I will say, because the Thor, the one thing about those
there
movies,
was more Norse.
there was more Norse in it.
I think that this is... I get what you're saying there. I think this is a better movie.
Yeah.
But I think that is something that maybe Thor had on it was... Well, plus we also got Thor without a hammer going like, how am I here in New Mexico or whatever.
Yeah, see, because that's the thing. Because that's the thing about the Thor movies is the weird thing about those movies, they should be better than they are. Like, I still enjoy them, don't get me wrong. And I have the first one.
I have no idea
It is one of those ones, like, they should be better, and that's kind of like how I feel. That's why I think the third Thor is gonna. I think that's gonna fix all the Thor problems.
I think Thor 3 is everything I want in a science fiction movie.
Yeah,
but
or a fantasy sci-fi.
Sci-fi, whatever, you know what I mean. But I'll say Thor 2. I feel weird about that one because it's like they did everything I wanted to do. This one, it mostly take place in Asgard. Have them fight like monsters and other creatures and all that, and go like different world hopping.
Yeah,
that's what that movie is. And for some reason, it just panned out being not as good as the first. And
yeah,
the second one's not even a bad movie.
No, they're both good. It's just
like the two weakest Marvel movies to me is Iron Man 2 and Thor 2, and I think that like I don't know, I can't explain why.
Yeah,
it's like that movie did everything I asked for, but I just didn't click with me.
Yeah, and I think with Wonder Woman, it's like kind of like it's the weird other thing. It's like the movie itself's actually stronger because there's no annoying characters. There's nothing like that goes against like why it makes you angry. But I just feel like what's missing though is they just need to sprinkle on a little bit more Greek.
When you saw the character Chief, for a split second, were you hoping he'd go Chuck and get big and like sock something?
Oh, I so did. I thought that's who it was going to be. I was like, are they going to fucking do that? And it's like, oh. No.
I didn't think they were, but like when they said Chief, and I was kind of like, even if he didn't get big, but if they just call him Apache Chief, like, that'd be like...
That's what I started thinking. I'm like, maybe it is a Apache Chief reference. Maybe that's what he's supposed to be. Because he kind of looks like him. They call him Chief.
They call him Chief.
They don't call him Apache. But...
I will say that this also seemed... This isn't nothing to dock the movie down for. This is more just things I noticed, because... I'm going to call him
Apache Chief. You know what? I think so.
You're going to call him Apache Chief?
I think that should just be Apache Chief from now on. Because that guy's a cool character anyway. It's like one of the coolest characters in the movie.
I think it would have been cool if they did something... This is like... I'm not docking the movie down for this. I'm just saying I think it would have been cool. Because I'm not going to be one of those guys. Like in my movie, Spider-Man and the Lizard team up and they meet Daredevil.
Yeah.
And from there, yeah. But I think it would have been cool if like he's talking about mysticism and all that. Like, you can't do it. Like, I did it once. You were never there. Like, oh, yeah, you can't do it. And then, like, it's like, here's my chance. And maybe just the one moment he has, he does it. Maybe he dies in the process. But the moment he does, it's like that moment, like, in True Grit, where it's like, he's somebody took out two guns, took all these guys out. Like, you never fucking did that. And then, like, it actually finally happens at the end of the movie. Like, oh, I fucking did it.
Exactly.
Gets big and, like, smashes down some
Well,
fucking
even be cool.
monster.
You could even do something weird where it's like, you could have Dr. Poison, like, has some kind of chemical in her fucking purse and drops
spray it at people or something.
Yeah, and it affects him differently, and then it just makes him get all large. I think that's the only thing. It's like,
just make it mystic. Just make it mystic. Like he has his own mystic stuff too.
Yeah, it's Indian magic.
It's hard to do. It's hard to do. Like it's just like it's one of those things. Like he can't do it all the time. He's like, oh, it just gets big, and then while like during the big battle, like he's fighting some fucking Greek monster or something like that, just socking this fucking thing down while they all like try to take them to plane while Wonder Woman fights Ares.
Exactly. And I think, you know what it is? It comes down to this thing that DC almost needs to, like, they gotta cut a couple more ropes that are holding back that fantasy sci-fi element and just let that fucking go. Because it's almost the thing with this movie is it's like, it's almost done, I'm gonna say safe. I know that sounds kind of weird, but by not throwing too much of the Greek stuff in there, I feel like, and trying to make it feel more grounded, it's still going in that Dark Knight style. And that's like, I almost kind of, I hope that they're getting away from the Dark Knight, but they're still kind of like dragging it behind them like it's a fucking suitcase.
Because it's kind of like, well, it's one of those things where it's like, it's fantasy. You can't deny it's not fantasy. But at the same time, though, it's like they can't show a monster. They got to show, because that might be too much of a stretch. It's got to be a dude in a
suit of armor.
In a suit of armor with powers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's the thing. It's like, just go the full, make it fucking Clash of the Titans. Like, do it, like, because that's what you're going for. You're going for all the Greek stuff. You're like, you know what I mean? Like, especially when you're watching a Thor Ragnarok trailer before this movie, and then this movie kind of comes up, you're like, kind of like, go the distance. You know what I mean? It's like,
now I will say Thor. It's like the DC's in a weird spot because Marvel was slightly kind of playing it safe. They were just like,
well, they play it safe, like almost in like seriousness. That's what they play it safe in. But they do. I will say, like by now, they're like ballsy as far as like throwing out like how these characters are supposed to look and like making things colorful and making things like over fantasy and sci-fi.
When you think about it, because the very first one that started it all was Iron Man. Iron Man is if you look at that movie, it's a by the numbers superhero movie. It's just Robert Downey Jr. is very likable.
Jeff
Bridges is a very like cool villain and a very just bridges it up. And it's just like, it has a good look to it. It's colorful. Yeah. It's just one of those things, it's not that nothing about that movie is so original. It's just that it's done very well. And I think that's one of the last times you could actually do that kind of movie. We got to wait probably another 10 or 15 years to go. Remember back to the simple superhero format?
Yeah.
We got tired of?
Well, because I will say if the Wonder Woman one, it does actually feel kind of like the Captain America, the first movie. Like, it has like...
but in World War One.
But it's like World War One, but like, they literally, it's like... Here's the super soldier. Here's the super Amazon. She's a super soldier, technically. Mm-hmm. Here's, like, her band of troops who are all from different, like, regions of the world, which would never be together probably in that time period, but that's okay. We'll kind of stretch our imaginations at that time period, because we all know how racy everybody would have been back in those days.
Well, I'm going to say maybe if you were, like, maybe if you're, like, some worldly traveler and you've been in the shit, maybe by then you'd probably see past skin. If you were probably some suburban person, no. But I think maybe back then, if you actually did go around a lot and were in the shit, by then maybe you could, like, you know what? He's a little bit more tanner than me. That's cool. Come, let's get a beer.
I mean, like, I'll suspend my disbelief for that one there. It's like, we just kind of know how old-timey people sometimes are.
Yeah.
But it kind of does follow a lot of the similar stuffs of that movie. And I will say, the one thing about the Wonder Woman movie, it does feel like a movie that felt like it could have came out in 2008. And that probably would have felt about normal. Or even, like, 2010. Like... As I said, I do really enjoy it, but I do feel like it was almost like I just want to see him go just a little bit farther. Just, you know what I mean? Like, and the thing is, like, yeah, Iron Man 1, that's 2008. That was fine for them, but it's kind of like, I just think of, like, right now, like, what are we kind of competing Wonder Woman against? Guardians of the Galaxy? Thor Ragnarok? And I'm using Marvel movies, which is odd, but that's what I kind of mean. It's like, here's these ones that are going the distance farther than you. I mean, they are taking something and running and, like, not even fucking stopping. Where the only kind of downfall is, like, Wonder Woman, it's like... Because you thought that Suicide Squad was going to be the one that's going to be like, no, they're going to cut all the ties and they're going to go balls out and do it like what they do. Sadly enough, they don't go as far as they could have, or as far as that trailer thought was going to happen. But still, it's still progress. And I still think of Wonder Woman 2, but I felt like they did kind of still play it safe in the Dark Knight style. Like, they still felt like, let's just not go too far with this. Let's keep it grounded in reality. Let's have her fight regular people. Let's have her, and once again, don't get me wrong, it's cool, but it was one of those ones, like, I feel like it wasn't as exciting as it could have been.
I'm going to say that I think it's one of those things, like, I guess, I don't want to get all Huffington Post about it, but socially, I think that this movie is definitely a step forward. Like, just
I think,
socially it is, but... is like, as far as a superhero movie, I agree with what you're saying. It's kind of like in that same, not that we've seen it before, but it seems like a combination of things that have kind of come before. And I think that, don't get me wrong, I thought it was fantastic, and I'd love to get it on Blu-ray when it comes out.
Definitely.
And that being said, it's probably my second favorite of the modern DC movies.
Mm-hmm. Sadly, I'll probably say it's actually my least favorite of the modern ones.
Really?
Yeah, I like Batman v Superman more than this one.
I like this way more than Suicide Squad.
Oh, no, you're right. Never mind. Back. I forgot about that one for a second. Yep. No, it'd be my third favorite out of all those then. I like Man of Steel and probably Batman v Superman more, but yeah, not Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Unless you consider the first, like, half an hour. Because that's the thing about Suicide Squad. That first 40 minutes.
That short film.
Yes. So it's like, it's a perfect movie, and then it just goes, beep. It's literally a roller coaster ride downhill that never goes back up again.
It's like Splash Mountain.
It's like where's the loop-de-loops and all that stuff? Oh, that was in the beginning. That was the part where you were climbing up. Yeah, we had ideas there, and then it just kind of coasted until you got back and had to pay another $10 to get back on this ride.
Yeah, that's Suicide Squad. But
I still like Suicide Squad. I probably like it way more than the average Joe, but...
I mean, I liked it more when I saw it second time around, like on TV.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, this isn't as bad as I remember it being. Not enough to go out and buy it on Blu-ray, but it was definitely not nearly as bad as I remember it being. But that being said, though, this one, I feel like... Not on the whole. Of all of Marvel's and of all of DC's movies, not on the whole. But as far as like their current, and granted, Marvel's got like 6 years on them. I'm gonna say Marvel's still, I think, doing probably better at their movies just because they got it all dialed in. They know what they're doing. I'll say it first. A lot of the humor and how they seem to everything seemed to be action comedy at first. Kind of bothered me. That I kind of slowly warmed up to it, and as I warmed up to it, they kind of pulled back on that. And not saying they didn't add comedy to it, but it just seemed to not be as much of it. You know?
Yeah, they've toned it down. I mean, you can say Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That's about one fantastic movie, but it's only like my only slight complaint is they could just pull back on a handful of jokes, like just a bit.
And Guardians of the Galaxy, that one's still totally an action comedy, but other ones though, I feel like they do hold back. They just have funny moments here and there.
Yeah,
and I feel like the tone they have for it fits that. And I think the DC, I think they are starting to learn though. And you said that there's a couple of names holding them back. And I think that, I mean, tragically, Scott Snyder's daughter, one of his daughters, killed herself. Mm. So he's off that. And I'm not trying to be like, silver lining to that is. I'm not trying to say that or anything shitty like that. But I mean, since he's off, that more likely is going to bring other people in though. So I guess we'll just see what happens. Yeah. Because I don't imagine, because with all the shit he gets from this, and plus with this, I can't imagine he'd want to go back for a while. You know?
Yeah, he's gonna have a little bit of a hiatus.
Yeah, which I understand.
And I mean, like it was once like here's the thing, and I really like Zack Snyder a lot as a director. I'm like one of those guys when nobody was standing up for Zack Snyder, I'd be the guy be like, I fucking love Sucker Punch. I don't know what you guys talk about. When they got to the point where they're like, yeah, 300 was just old news, but you loved it back then. Yeah, liked it back then, but not now. I still stood up for Zack Snyder, but it is one of those ones like because you look at Wonder Woman, Zack Snyder's name, he's a producer. He's one of the writers. You know what I mean? And then you see, it's like, you got fucking Jeff Johns there. What is he doing? Like fucking twiddling his dick in the corner? Like, get his ass up there and have him write shit. I always feel kind of bad. It's like, I know he's the creative guy, but I just feel like he's in the room like, let me tell you what we do in the comic. Yeah,
shut the fuck down!
He fucking like starts throwing comic books at him. Like, damn you fucking nerd! Like, because it's like, it feels like, the only reason you're fucking here is because fucking DC said you had to fucking be here. Like, it's like, he's almost like that guy who gets sent to, like, a school, and everybody there is like, you don't fucking belong here, Harry Potter. You know, we're all rich kids. What are you, fucking, like, closet dweller, fuck scum? Like...
Closet Dweller Fuck Scum, our new punk band.
So, and that's sort of like, I feel like how Jeff Johns is, because his name's on fucking everything, but it's like, dude, are you guys not using his talent? Dude, he's like one of the best. You read a fucking Jeff Johns comic, you're like, dude, this guy fucking knows his shit. But clearly they don't allow him to like say a whole lot in these meetings. Like,
you know why we don't let him say anything in the meetings? He wants to put the fucking Legion in everything.
Yeah, that's his only, like, that's his kryptonite, is he loves to have Legion.
Like, guys, how about we just do this? How about we just leave John alone, or Jeff alone with a fucking laptop, let him write whatever he wants, we'll make that movie, we'll let him get it out of his system, and then, like, they turn their back, like, alright, go. Just, like, they turn their back, turn around, already has it fucking done. Legion, the movie, like, alright, we'll fucking do it, John, we'll do it. And then, like, you know, they get the movie going, like, alright, we got that shit out of the way. Now you got all the Legion out of your system.
Yeah.
Let's do some fucking Batman. Let's do some Flash.
Let's do some Green Lantern. That's what you're good at.
Let's get some Black Lightning going.
But I think that's just the thing. It's like, so I think it's sad enough as is. But once you kind of drop Zack Snyder and once you drop David S. Goyer, and once again, these guys all they did their time, you know what I mean? But it's kind of like that thing where like when you have like a World War II vet, and it's like, well, you did good for World War II, but stand back now. We need to have some new guys come in and start saying their opinions, because your opinions right now were great for the 40s and 50s, but now it's a different era. And I think sometimes
mix it up a bit.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those ones we're kind of at this point where it's like we need that next step because we're still hung up on The Dark Knight. And don't get me wrong, Dark Knight, amazing movie. That time period was great. For what it was a perfect stepping stone. But now we need to go to the next stepping stone, and The Dark Knight's holding us back.
And not to suck Marvel's dick too hard, but Marvel's been kind of pretty smart about moving forward, because they seem to every phase seems to be something kind of different. I mean, I'm not going to lie, Ant-Man and Doctor Strange seemed kind of like, I mean, they're different from Iron Man, but they seemed somewhat kind of like origin story.
Yeah.
Not the same origin story we see for like every other superhero movie, But when you tell an origin story, you kind of collect some of the things. In this movie, I get why they're doing the origin story for Wonder Woman, because not many people know that origin story.
Yeah.
I think we're just done with Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman.
Those are the three characters we really don't need to do. Probably for at least
Daredevil. Even Daredevil will say it.
Yeah, I'll say Daredevil. Well, the thing about Daredevil, it's like
because he has a movie and a show. So.
Yeah, he's got two, and it's like one of those ones. Daredevils, you can explain lots of these ones in like less than 5 minutes. Like when I was watching, once again, going back to the animated series of Spider-Man, whenever they needed to explain somebody's origin, they would do it in under 5 minutes, and it was way better than any movie could do it.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. It's like you don't need these drawn out origins. That's why at least I'll say Wonder Woman I like, because her kind of like origin part was kind of short. It didn't take up that much of the movie. And it was good the whole way through. Like it wasn't like okay.
Or it's like, don't treat it like this thing you just gotta get out of the way. Treat it as part of the movie. For instance, like Two-Face's origin. Like I honestly feel like Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I feel like if that movie came out, and I'm not talking about Batman Forever, but say you had some version of Dark Knight come out like in.
Well, Batman Forever does have like the 5 minute like let's get this origin. Like I will, if I have to give credit where credit's due, at least in Batman Forever they know how to just say like, how did Harvey Dent do this? Well, boom, here's Harvey Dent. He was on a case. Fell into acid, boom! There you go.
Well, I feel like that works right there, but not Batman Forever exactly. I'm thinking more like say like there's like some version of Dark Knight that came out in '97 or '98, and there's a part where like I imagine it would be almost kind of like the way they set up Norman Osborn in Spider-Man, kind of like. Listen, Dent, you better be listening to us now. We don't want you going after this mob boss. Like, oh, I'm going to do it because it's the right thing to do. And that would have been like the first like. Aside from Batman, that probably would have been like the first 20 minutes of the movie. Oh, yeah. And then just like him getting the ass in his face, like, and then talking to himself, like, why do I have this ass in my face? Why am I evil now? I don't know. You know, I would have had something kind of like that. And I think that we've seen it too much by this point. So.
Well, I think in Dark Knight, why that works is because you already have another villain that you didn't have to introduce.
And it's kind of like if you know who Harvey Dent is, cool. But there's a lot of people who didn't, because when I went to go see that movie, I heard 3 or 4 people gasp when they saw the burn on the side of his face. Like, oh fuck, that's that one dude.
Well, I think a lot of regular people don't know that that's his regular name.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, now people do, which is cool. But and I remember like I even like when I saw Dark Knight, when he turned around, he's like. When he says like Two-Face, your name was Two-Face. I remember like people like cheered on that part in the theater.
Yeah.
So that was one of those things like, oh shit, they did it,
See, that works well there. And as I said, Wonder Woman, really overall, it's like I think their origin they do fine for that. And everything else is just I just think just need a little bit of sprinkle of Greek in there. That's what you need. You need some Greek dressing going over the top of that movie, just top it all off. Throw some lamb on there.
Some
feta cheese.
Feta cheese, that's what I was thinking.
There we go. It's like
some olives.
It just need a little bit more Greek, less British. I'm not gonna say like some of those ones like the British stuff's kind of like unnecessary. I mean, it's fine for a little bit there, but what we're here to see is a Greek character.
For the second in London when they stop there and they meet the
well, I don't mind that stuff, but like sprinkle some more Greek in there. That's all we need. Just more Greek.
I did notice there would be those moments where it would just be kind of like we need an action scene, barroom fight.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it's like need an action scene. They get attacked by some guys real quick.
Yeah. It kind of threw in there. Well, because if they didn't have those, boy, that movie would almost have like a big lull in it. Because they already had kind of a lull as is. And it's not like a bad lull, but it was just kind of one of those ones where I noticed it. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like, I felt like it was almost one of those, we could speed this up. That's how
Plus, I saw it a late showing myself. But,
yeah.
I went to a 10 o'clock showing. Also, there was the thing about that movie was... this isn't a thing that's going to kill it for me, but those 3 guys were part of their team. I was just looking up, seeing if they were like just random, obscure DC characters. None of them were.
They were like Sergeant Rock characters that they pulled or something weird like that.
I was thinking maybe they were just some random characters from World War II. They may have just plopped in World War I. But they weren't. They're just kind of characters made up for the movie, which I get it. That's fine. But at the same time, though, I think that would be a perfect opportunity just to take some weird, random, like... characters from the 40s and just drop them in there.
I thought so too, because I kind of wanted that too. I'm like, I've never seen an origin story where Wonder Woman was in World War I. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's kind of new and refreshing just in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know anything about these characters, so I was like, maybe they are, maybe they're not. I don't know. But...
Well, I knew they weren't like I figured most characters probably don't go further back than like the 40s unless you got some random like cowboy or Wild West one.
Yeah, you know what I mean, things like that. But
if you had old man Jonah Hex on the team.
Yeah, exactly.
Old man. This is now it's just becoming a fanboy script, but yeah.
See, that would have been kind of cool.
Because he would have been he could still if he was
because he's late 1800s. He's not like early 1800s.
So he could have been like an old man by that point.
Even though he's kind of old man, I guess by 1870 something, but he'd be like really old man. But
we
let's
just
just say his powers keep him alive.
We could just make him in his 60s. Fuck it. We'll say that in the 1880s he was like in his 20s.
But then he went into the Civil War.
What?
I guess that takes part of his thing out, the Civil War.
Oh, right,
part.
the 60s.
See, that's the downfall. It's like he's like, oh, 60s.
Yeah, he was in the 1860s, so he would have been out of the Civil War.
So it's like it's what it takes from his origin. I was like,
whatever. Maybe he was a boy in the Civil War.
Boy. Yeah, make him a boy. He's very young in the Civil War, so
there you go.
he was 18
He was
or
18.
15. Fuck it. So now he's like 75 in World War I or whatever.
Yeah, and he's just like he's like not he can't move that quick, but he's still the fastest gun.
See, it's interesting thing. You think about World War I. It's like there's a bunch of guys sitting around going like, "I was in Civil War, and you know what I mean, and now you guys are out there fighting Europe."
Yeah,
it sounds weird, but you just kind of forget about that. It's like, oh yeah, it wasn't that long ago.
I want to say World War One. The last World War One vet die somewhere in the 90s.
Yeah, because I remember when it died. Because I was in, I want to say 7th grade. I remember when the last one died or something like that. It was like, oh. And the weird thing too is we're getting to the point where like World War II vets, it's like there's not a whole lot of those guys left either.
That's tripping me out. When
Yeah,
you think about
it's
it.
weird. Well, it's weird because like I think about because like to me I always felt like everybody I knew's grandparents somehow some way involved with World War II. Either if they were in World War II or they did something like that. And now it's like you talk to people, it's like, oh, your grandparents are Vietnam. It's
What
like
do you think
whoa, what the fuck?
When we get older, when we're probably like in our 40s or 50s, do you think we're gonna get a resurgence of Vietnam movies?
I bet you they'll come back again because Vietnam movies kind of died off for a while because there was
They were big in the 80s.
They were big in like pretty much from Apocalypse Now on. It was like there was like tons of them, and it was all the way up to about the 80s or so, and then they just kind of dropped off. Like I'm trying to think, it's like was there a Vietnam? There was there's ones like that came out every once in a while. Like there was
We Were Soldiers.
Yeah, We Were Soldiers. And it's almost like when the World War II like popularity came back, they tried to like say, hey, what else we could jump back on is Vietnam, and it just didn't seem to work out nearly as well. Not that the stuff that came out wasn't good, but just wasn't catching on. But I bet you there will be. There'll definitely be one of those ones where Vietnam comes back. Because you think about it, in like the 50s or the 40s and 50s, like World War II movies, ginormous. There was like a boom. They were like all over the place. And then they kind of petered out till like almost like the 90s.
It seems kind of like what happens is they come out around the time it's happening.
Yeah.
And then, or like right after it's happening.
Right after.
Or even during, in this case, because we had movies about Iraq and all that in the Middle East.
Yeah, well, they had World War II movies during World War II, and a lot of times they were just made up shit that like Hollywood people are like, this must be what it's like over there.
Yeah, exactly. And then like later, it seems like when they were a bit older, they kind of take another stab and try and bring them back.
Yeah.
Where I'm wondering if we're gonna get people tired of like all these movies set in the Middle East right now, because that's just been going on forever, and or if we're just gonna get like I said earlier, like a resurgence of Vietnam films. So
I could see that, or the even ones you could pull to is all like the weird like Middle Wars, like Korean Wars, and
like
Gulf
Korean,
Wars,
or there's like Grenada.
Yeah, Grenada.
There's the movie in Grenada.
Yeah, all those different ones like that. All those ones that like they made something of it, around the time period, but then people kind of forgotten about it over.
Have we got a movie on the Bay of Pigs?
I know there is
those
ones.
just these Wile E. Coyote attempts to kill like Castro.
What if they just did it like that style? Like it was all in like Warner Brothers like Looney Tunes.
Well, I guess I'm gonna say just get Foghorn Leghorn as Fidel Castro. Just give him a Hispanic accent.
Exactly.
And then just have him he just stumbles by, just always barely missing death somehow.
Yeah, somehow, some way, always stepping away. And then he's got like, what's that little bird that's always like...
The chicken hawk?
The chicken hawk one, like, I'm gonna get him!
I'm gonna get you! I'm gonna get you!
Yeah, there's that
guy.
guy.
Slow down there, Junior! Slow down there!
But, well, it's just like, there's always many of those wars that never kind of get a whole lot of stuff. Like, you never see Spanish-American wars. Not a big fucking deal, but there's very few stuff on that. Then you got, like the War of 1810. Like, once again, if you looked hard enough, you can always find at least one movie or so. But not as many of them. That's a important event anyways. That's when the British come up and go, like, burn down the White House and go, fuck you! Suck our balls! Suck our bollocks! Just like, yeah, it's British like, fuck you and your country!
You fucking cunt!
It's like, well, who'd they send over this? Oh, they just sent off a bunch of pissed off guys in a bar that didn't give a flying fuck about America. It's not like all the proper British people that are like sailing over. It's like, no, we chose all the hooligans. All the soccer hooligans guys.
That was over real quick.
Yeah, they don't really work out. So, well, they went there, burned down the White House, shot a couple bullets, and then said, fuck it. But, yeah, there's all kinds of things you can do.
Yeah, fucking God. I feel dumb asking. This just sounds like the usual dumb American question. But by what time did we start to be cool? Because I thought that, like, let's see here. I thought by, like, the 1860s, we were slowly starting to become cool with, like, England again.
Yeah, and that's probably about right. Mostly doesn't even take that long to be cool of a country. I mean, you think about Japan, it's like, drop fucking 2 nuclear bombs, massacred each side a bunch of times, and then like fucking
now
10
they
years...
they invade like a whole corner of Spencer's Gifts.
Well, I mean, yeah, and then, like, you think about, like, it wasn't even like 10 years later they're like fucking buddy. It was like right after the war. It's like it doesn't take that long for some reason. The only people that mostly hold grudges are the guy who's like stand there like, my fucking family was killed by Nagasaki, you fucks! Yeah. Like, those are the guys that are mostly pissed off, but it seems like country-wise, whatever.
I wonder if we ever get, like, fucking, like, taken over by Russia or, like, North Korea or something, if we're just gonna be, like, buddy-buddy with them later. Like, hey, man, whatever, it happens, you know.
I don't see why not. I feel like,
kind of like
there's always some people who are like,
communism's not so bad once you actually get used to it.
They're always like to the point where they're like, you know what, we should not be friends with Russia or China. I'm like, why not? We should be friends with fucking everybody. Like, why would we not? We should be fucking friends with North Korea because clearly they need a friend more than anybody else.
North Korea just like he's just that fat entitled kid at the corner.
Yeah, he is just like, yeah, this is my kingdom. These are my video games. It's like somebody needs to come by and somebody needs to come by and just like fucking beat the shit out of that kid and shove his head in a toilet and be like,
you're saying, hey, this kid needs a friend. Like, nobody needs more though. An ass whooping.
He needs one of those ass whoopings where you beat the fucking living shit out of him for like 3 hours and then you go buy him a beer and say it's okay.
We're gonna talk this out like men.
Yeah. One of those old fashioned ones where it's just like, we're gonna beat the shit out of you, but then we're gonna be best friends by tomorrow.
That rarely ever happens anymore, at least to me, but it's happened before, like, where you get into a fight with a kid at school, and then later you're friends with the guy. Like, I don't really know how, like, maybe you get older, so that shit just stops, but...
Yeah, I don't think it's just...
I remember, like, 2 or 3 situations where I got in a fight with a kid, and then, like, later, not always, but, like, 2 or 3 situations where we were friends later.
Yeah, it's weird how that science kind of happens like that.
Yeah.
But that's how it is. Like, the idea of not wanting to be friends with people, it's like, what the fuck? It's like,
I mean, don't get me wrong, Korea, it's one of those things...
Like, I'm not saying Korea's doing anything good, but it's like, clearly...
Well, I'm going to say as far as, like, I'm not going to look at it too political here, but, like, Russia, though, it's like, I think it's the matter of, like, not being friends with Russia. It's a matter of just, like, bending over and being, like, its fuck toy.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's a difference between
Which Trump seems like he's trying to do.
Well, yeah, that, and then you get all...
They'll spread it for you, Putin. They'll spread it. Just get in there. Get in there all clean and nice. Like, he just grabs his hair, the wig comes off.
Exactly. And then Putin, like, puts it on his nipple. Like, as a prize. Puts it around his neck.
He just walks
Starts running through, like, the streets of Moscow with, like, a loincloth on and a spear.
He just has just, like, this fucking, just this, he wears, like, a scalp.
Yeah, he's just got, like... he's just got a bunch of them from all kinds of other countries.
Like, this one just came right... He's like, this one just come right off. No knife required. He started crying when he saw my blade. And by that I mean my knife, not my dick.
He was happy to see my dick for some reason.
Those Americans, oh...
Bunch of cocksuckers they are. He is definitely...
Cocksucker kid.
Yeah, he was born cocksucker. But... yeah, that's probably a good place to wrap it all up with. We had all kinds of fun DZ stuff to sprinkle across the world here, and got nothing but like good stuff to look forward to with Justice League and Thor and all kinds of fun stuff. Spider-Man coming up. There's so many things coming up in like the next like couple of months. But till then, check out oldmanorange.com. Make sure to check out Pizza Boys. That came up on Comixology on May 31st. So that was pretty cool to have that up on there. And then I should have the second issue up in about the next week. So all kinds of fun things to be had. Till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. Won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to Old Man Orange.